Monday evening, everyone. I'm Chris Pisano, and thanks for joining us for Western Mass News at 6. Let's take a quick look at what's making headlines tonight. Governor Charlie Baker today saying it was going to be a long and difficult week as the number of COVID-19 cases spike in the state. Here in Western Mass, it looks like the curve's flattening out, with the number of those requiring a ventilator in the hospital decreasing. And the IRS says some stimulus checks are hitting bank accounts, which is much needed relief for those falling on tough economic times. But before we continue our coronavirus coverage, we turn things over to weather. It has been a rainy and gloomy and windy day. And for more on what we can expect going into tonight, let's turn things over to meteorologist Jacob Wycoff. Jacob?
We're kind of pausing things right now because we actually have a period of drier weather that's in place before the cold front does swing through. Our latest wind gusts anywhere from 24 to 35 miles per hour. But notice that beige, or that purple color, I should say, out towards eastern Hampden and Hampshire County into Worcester County. That's a little bit of a pocket of 40 plus mile per hour winds. So still pretty gusty out there. The wind warning and wind advisory in effect through this evening, with winds still potentially gusting up to 60 miles per hour. We did get a 59 mile per hour wind gust out of Boston just within the last few minutes. And these are some of the varied storm reports that we've had pop up. If you have any storm reports, any damage in your backyard, that sort of thing, let us know. We will report that to the National Weather Service. And if you snap a picture, send it on in to us. We'd love to share that a little bit later. So I mentioned the brief dry period that we have in place. Notice what's coming in our direction, though. All of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have been talking about have expired, but still this line is packing a punch as it moves through the 87 corridor, the Hudson River Valley, and then into the Berkshires. So we're not done with the rain. We're not done with the wind just yet. There will be drier weather, though, heading into tomorrow. You see our Springfield Skycam starting to show that reduced visibility. We saw some improvement a little bit earlier, but we will see that certainly in place heading into tonight, 8 o'clock this evening, starting to see the stars and waking up with some sunshine for your Tuesday. Chris, a full look at the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Jacob, thank you. And as Springfield area hospital officials announce optimistic trends from within their facilities, their concern now turns to nursing homes. Several Western Mass nursing homes reporting COVID-19 outbreaks from within. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live from Springfield with more. Audrey.
Live in the weather tracker tonight because of the wind gusts, trying to stay safe while also socially distancing. Yeah, Chris, local long-term care facilities have been fighting with COVID-19 outbreaks, and Western Mass News has now learned of 2 more in Westfield with cases confirmed. The CEO of Bay State Health announcing that social distancing is working and the growth of COVID-19 cases in their hospitals is slow. But for people living in one of several Western Mass long-term care facilities with an outbreak of coronavirus, that optimism is less palpable.
We've been convening groups of 15 or 20 of the medical directors from these nursing homes.
Mark Kerouac says hospital officials are working with local nursing homes to ensure they have enough PPE and access to testing measures.
In many of the instances, what we find is that what they're most interested in is infection control expertise.
Teaching the staff at nursing homes how to properly enact pandemic control.
So what you want to do is to separate out the people that you know are uninfected from the people that are clearly infected.
Though both hospitals and nursing homes are staffed with medical professionals, the industrial hygienist who designed Springfield's homeless triage center says there are structural differences that allow hospitals to better control infection spread.
Long-term care facilities aren't designed the same way a hospital would be, where you can isolate areas, where you have separate HVAC zones or systems.
Western Mass News spoke over the phone with Congressman Richard Neal about the disease that's proven so deadly for seniors.
There's not much that you can do other than confining many of these people to their rooms, which is now happening in some instances. But still, the reporting that we received, whether it was from Longmeadow or Williamstown or Holyoke, it's a reminder of just how perilous this situation remains.
Neal announcing that Massachusetts will receive $841 million in federal support for hospitals through the CARES Act, and that long-term care facilities will receive assistance as well. For Neal, whose uncle is a resident at the Holyoke Soldiers' Home, the issue is personal.
He was testing positive for the disease, but as of 3 days ago, he was in recovery, and we have our fingers crossed.
Mercy medical officials announcing today that they too are providing guidance and assistance to the long-term care facilities that they oversee. They also said that they sent infection control education to the different correctional facilities over the weekend. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thank you for that live report. 2 more veterans have died at the Holyoke Soldiers Home, bringing the total now to 40. One of those had tested positive, the other negative for coronavirus. The total number of deaths includes 33 positive tests and 7 negative ones. The number of total confirmed positive cases remains the same at 88 veteran residents and 78 employees. 84 veteran residents and 222 employees have tested negative. Tests are pending on 11 other veteran residents. The Massachusetts Department of Public Health updating its numbers today. There are now 26,867 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in our state. That is up 1,392 from yesterday. 844 people have died from the virus. That's up 88 from yesterday. And so far, the state has conducted 122,049 tests. If you've checked your bank account lately, recently, you may have noticed an influx of cash, and that's because the federal stimulus money is starting to go to Americans across the country. Western Mass News reporter Sarah Ganelli joins us in studio, breaking down what we need to know about the checks. Sarah?
Chris, we spoke with a financial specialist who says people began receiving their stimulus money from the federal government through direct deposit to their bank account, and checks will be in the mail soon. But a warning, be aware of people who are pretending to be from the IRS. The financial impact of the coronavirus outbreak is being felt by millions of people across the country. The president signed a $2.2 trillion economic package to help uplift the financial burden many are facing.
I can't not remember in my time where every single person in this country ever received money back from this government, which tells you a whole lot about the severity of this crisis and the concern for the federal government to basically bridge this economic virus.
Western Mass News spoke with Richard Pelletier from the Help Retire group. He goes over who is eligible to get a check.
If you're a single individual and you filed a tax return in 2019 or 18 and you make less than $75,000, you're automatically qualified. Now what happens if you're in more, you're still eligible for something, but it's going to be reduced. If you're a married couple and you file a tax return in 2019 or 18 and make less than $150,000 of adjusted gross income, you're going to get the full amount.
According to the IRS, you will get a $1,200 check if you're an individual. Married couples who qualify will receive $2,400 and $500 for each child under 17. Pelletier says the government is basing it off of your 2018-2019 tax filing. But what if you're retired and haven't filed?
The memorandum I'm seeing from the Internal Revenue Service for the retirees is they're going to use the data on your Social Security statement and use that as the basis for which determining eligibility.
The money is being either direct deposited into your account or sent by mail. But be aware, Pelletier says there are scams happening.
I think be very, very careful about you being contacted by somebody purporting to put you in the head of that long list waiting for checks. Those are scams.
If you haven't filed in a while, the IRS has set up a website where you can enter your information so you too can get paid. That link is on our website at westernmassnews.com. We're also keeping an eye on a tracking system being set up by the IRS to check your payment status. In the studio, Sarah Granelli, Western Mass News.
Sarah, thanks for that live report. And new at 6, Western New England University has announced it's furloughing 60 employees. They say the furloughs, which represent less than 1% of the school's total workforce, began today, and they're expected to last 30 days. The university says the move is needed with the majority of students at home due to the coronavirus. They say the furloughs are not impacting faculty members. And for more coverage on the coronavirus emergency as it develops, log on to our free Western Mass News streaming app. When we come back on this Monday, are you having a hard time falling asleep? Western Mass News spoke to a sleep specialist and got some tips on how to get some better shut-eye. And a look at how the coronavirus pandemic is impacting bike sales right here in the Bay State. Stay with us.